American people, and it would have been all over the news. But when we get into this whole case, nothing. No march, no protest, no public apology, nothing. This is why his statue is down there in Washington right now, because they killed him. And it's crazy that this is not being put out there, even now, still to this day, the way it should be. And people are not talking about that the fucking government, just pay attention to CNN and all the bullshit that they talk. These politicians and everything like that. They killed King. The government killed King. They killed him. And he was waking up, as if you read the quote that he told Harry Belafonte about, he's integrating us into a burning house. And he had, doubts about what was going on. As I talked about in the previous video, King was tricked into all this. And he didn't realize that it was a trap until it was too late. And he began to speak out a little bit, and he began to be against the Vietnam War and sending black people over there to die. And he's seen that this whole thing they was basically going to be using us to grow their economy, which is basically what happened. But he also said, he just ended that quote, when Harry Belafonte asked him, what should we do? He said that, we got to become firemen. We can't just let the house burn down. So he also still wanted to make a change and fix the issues that was going to be involved with us integrating with white people. So he's seen that it was going to be a dilemma. And of course, if you have somebody like King there to help control the situation and to make sure that, we got black businesses and, we got, equal school books and equal information and everything, and the information was taught right, then of course they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Instead, you have people like Jesse Jackson, who Steve Coakley, if you watch the video, basically tells you straight out that Jesse Jackson was in on the death of Martin Luther King, if any of you seen that video. And he proves it to me. He convinced me. And you have people like him and Al Sharpton and them, all these sellouts, basically steer us in the wrong direction, and a lot of other sellouts steer us in the wrong direction to make sure we didn't get exactly what we were supposed to get. But instead, you had, this whole integration definitely not go the way that King was expecting it to go. So when you look at Trump and you look at the news media, they basically helped them complete this whole racist agenda. I mean, we can't count on the media for anything. If you pay attention to all the flip-flopping that Trump did. Now, one, the media could have shown all this flip-flopping. You have so many videos and sound bites and transcripts of Donald Trump being pro-Democrat, saying that Obama was doing a good job as president, about how he is close friends with Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, how Clinton would be the best person to basically do a deal with Iran, all kinds of stuff. He was so pro-Democrat. And he is on record as saying that the news media could have played one video back to back of him basically saying all the pro-Democrat stuff that he said. Then he becomes Republican and basically uses the racism. He basically woke up millions of voters who were unregistered, who didn't want to vote because they was racist and they didn't believe in equality in America. He appealed to them. He appealed to racism and the racism that's deep inside of a lot of white people, because they have been influenced by the media and the way we have been portrayed to not like black people. And he woke these people up and he basically got them to vote for him, running on racism, basically. Now, in the black community, black people, we've been screaming out for years, racism, something is foul, white supremacy. And we have been called, Afrocentric, race baiter, reverse racism, all kinds of stuff, and militant. These people crazy. They just hate white people. We've been called all kinds of names, but we have been successfully able to prove, not only one, the CIA brought crack into the black communities. We proved that. We proved that they built these private prisons to arrest black people and lock them up as a result of the drug epidemic that they created. We proved that they are behind gangster rap. They promote it, they put it out there, and they already know the effects that gangster rap has on the minds of people and causing them to act out the message behind the music. And, people commit murders and all kinds of stuff. And the music is derogatory towards black women, causing black women to act out as well. And now because of this hip hop music, which I'm totally super against, if you know me, we have the state of the black community in disrepair. And we are living in a hip hop culture that's basically controlling the minds and masses of black people. And it's the cause of the destruction of the black community. This is all they're doing that we can prove. So we have been called all kinds of names, but we have been successfully able to prove that they have done all these things and they are behind all these things that the so-called white man is pointing to us and saying it's us. It's all us, nobody else. But we can prove that everything that they disagree with the black community about has been, put on the African American community, not by us. And then we also prove now that they have killed Dr. King. So, how can anybody look at the information that's overwhelming and then point to black people and say it's us when we can show you clearly with facts and proof what it really is? That it's a system of control that has been put in place to oppress black people and to keep us from growing in success and growing in education or what have you. And the whole thing is a proven fact. And if you don't want to see it, you won't never see it. Now, these are all things that are proven facts that I just mentioned. The government engineering the whole crack epidemic to destroy the black community, engineering the private prisons. And you have all these rich white people investing into private prisons that is a part of this whole thing. And again, you have to question something that is designed to be filled with inmates. And you don't know if people are going to be found guilty. So why would you invest millions of dollars into something that is largely dependent on a person being incarcerated and being found guilty of a crime, which a lot of people don't realize that these lawyers, these public defenders get extra money when they get you to take a plea. And this is what happens. Of course, a lawyer who is a public defender who doesn't have an attachment to a firm is going to take that money, that incentive, to get you to take a plea deal. So these private prisons is being filled because they have a guarantee that, niggas is going to be locked up. And this has already been proven, but there is no media coverage, no large media coverage. The same thing with the crack epidemic. The same thing with hip hop, them knowing the effects of music on the brain and how people are going to act out this music and begin to mimic it. And we can see that clear as day. So there is no march about this stuff. There is no, week-long media coverage, and black people ain't marching on it, and black people are not coming out really, having protests and stuff about all the stuff that I'm talking about, because, the same reason why we didn't march when the whole King thing, when we can see clearly that the government killed King, there is no march by black people because the news media didn't tell us that it was true. And that's the hard truth right there. And, most people don't accept outside sources. A lot of people only accept real news as being coming from mainstream media. So if Fox ain't say it was true, CBS and NBC ain't tell you, if CNN ain't tell you it was true, it was real, it actually happened, then most people don't believe that shit is real. So you see stuff clear as day with proven facts on YouTube and all over the internet, and people still don't accept it as being fact because they ain't see it on mainstream media. And this is the case. This is why a lot of this stuff is not getting dealt with. A lot of people are not really getting into it because, the news media ain't say it's real. So I can't really talk about it on social media or I'm going to look like a conspiracy theorist. And this is why this stuff is not getting addressed. People don't want to look at actual proof and fact in front of their faces and make a definitive, determination that, it is what it is. They're waiting for the news media to come out and tell them what it is. And this is the problem. The news media is part of your programming. It's just that simple. It's part of your programming, and everybody has been programmed by it and is abiding by it and under it and waiting for the media to give them the news to tell them what it is, what's right, what's wrong, what's true, and what's not. So they can blog about it, talk about it, and accept it as a fact before even doing any research. So you have, over the last 2 years, over 300, 400 unarmed black people being killed by white police officers. And you can see clearly that the news media is not going to give us any kind of leeway. So black people, y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to understand what's going on. Get y'all shit together, plain and simple. And this shit is a setup from jump. And everybody running around thinking that they're going to actually get the truth or some kind of beneficial help from this government system that is clearly not going to help you out. They killed King. Why would they help you out? Why would they give you anything that's going to help you? And this is what people are not understanding, because we think we are entitled to something because the government is what they say they are, when clearly they are not. So, you know, everybody is under this whole whatever happens, happens atmosphere. And as I said, people are just happy with just, you know, going along to get along. So we got to wake up and do our own thing and snap out of it. And this is not a knock on all white people, because clearly all white people don't have nothing to do with this whole system that we're talking about. It's a system of white supremacy that clearly most people can see. And this is what we are against. This is what we are talking about. We got to do our own thing, because we can no longer trust the news media, and we can no longer trust this system. So black people really got to get their shit together and realize that this is a competition. Everything, this whole society is based on competition. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't realize that it's all about competition. You compete in school. When you go to elementary school, junior, middle, you know, high school, college, it's all about competition, getting the best grades, graduating at the top of the class, being valedictorian or what have you. Competition. When you graduate, you got to compete for a job. You know, you got to compete out there. They call it the rat race. You know, they tell you the world is cruel. You got to compete. You got to be competitive. So when you finish school, when you go out to get a job, it's a competition. You know, people compete to buy the best homes, to have the best cars. It's competition in everything. Competition in media. You know, who is the best entertainer of the year? Who got the best movie, best picture, best actor, best actress? Everything is a competition, and we are losing the competition because we are not really playing the game, and we don't understand that it is a competition. You know, best new rapper, best R&B vocalist. Everything is in competition. So, you know, when you look at the whole hip hop culture that we live in, it's all about competition. Who got the best girl? Who got the best car? Who's shining? Who doing the best? And this is the culture that we live in. So you got to understand that we walking around screaming about, you know, we got rights and we want this and that, when you live in a system that's based on competition, and these people are saying, shut the fuck up and compete. And you're not getting that. A lot of people are not understanding what that is about. You have lobbyists out there that's hired by these corporations and companies that get paid millions of dollars to go out there and compete. You're not competing because you basically in a society that's all about competition that you are not involved in. You're not. You're involved in on it on a lower level that you don't even realize. We all consumed by competition. You know, who's the best sports team? Who's the best basketball team? You know, competition for, you know, MVP, most valuable player. Competition for best actress, best dressed actress at the Oscars or these award events. And it's all about competition. Meanwhile, you have a 1-day-old baby freeze to death in Portland, Oregon. And because it's about competition, we don't even look at what we, you know, how we treat each other. You know, it's competition. You see a homeless person and you just thank goodness, you thank your God that you okay, that you got a job and that, you know, you can compete in this world. You know, you look at him as, you know, you're not doing good. You behind in the race. You're not fast as us. You're not good as us or talented as us, because it's a competition. You can't do what we do. You can't do it like how I do. You can't shine like me, because it's a competition. And in a competition, people are competitive. And people don't want to share in the competition. People don't want to help out in the competition, because it's a competition. You want to win. And since we are subconsciously and unknowingly in this whole world of this competitive nature, our actions are reflecting that. So you got people who don't even want to help their brother out or their best friend out, you know, get a girlfriend some extra money or help them pay a bill because they want to be in competition with them. Or I don't want him to be doing as good as me. I don't want her to be, you know, doing as good as me or look as good as me. So I'm not going to help her out. Why should I give you money? It's a competition. And we keep screaming for shit and asking for shit, and it's a competition. So again, they're not just simply going to pass some damn laws to help us surpass them in wealth and success. And we got to wake up and realize that and act accordingly. So when you pay attention to all the people who need help, you know, everywhere you go, downtown, you look around, you see people living in poverty, people need help. And they're not getting that help by the very system that is supposed to be helping them. And we are so brainwashed, we're not looking at it and saying like, damn, what if that happened to me? You know, they not getting no help. So if I go down, you know, I'm not going to get no help either. So what do I have to do? I have to compete more. I got to be more competitive. I got to really go out here and push. And yeah, to me, if you ain't motivated by these homeless people out here, you know, you're going to probably end up one of them. So they should motivate you. But the motivation is for you to be competitive, for you to get out there and do better in life. And you have to, you know, and it's ridiculous how many homeless people are here, especially in California right here. It's crazy. We was downtown eating breakfast outside. You had a old Chinese lady come up and she stole our napkins and stole the ketchup off the table.